You are?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
More than 30 years later, our Batman returns.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Michael Keaton, the greatest to ever don the Batsuit, is back on the big screen, reprising his role in The Flash. Hey friends, I'm Jimmy Gaddis. Welcome to Nostalgic. Now, don't get me wrong, I thoroughly enjoyed watching his predecessor, Adam West, do it first. Reruns of the 1960s Batman seemingly streamed like Netflix in the Gaddis household growing up. But in 1989, Batmania took over the nation, with Keaton in the driver's seat, cementing his place on the Mount Rushmore of nostalgic superheroes. But as I only just recently found out, many of the same people who are so excited to see Keaton, our Caped Crusader, in 2023, weren't all this enthusiastic in the late 80s. In this video, we're looking back at the controversial casting decision and the swift opposition it received from Batman fans. That said, time warp, fire up those Bat engines and take us back to 1988.
Michael Keaton and Terry Garr in Mr. Mom, a mother of a comedy, rated PG.
Michael Keaton, up until this point, is best known for his roles as Mr. Mom or the mischievous trickster Beetlejuice, a movie he filmed with director Tim Burton. Burton was also tapped to direct Batman and brought Keaton on to fill the iconic role of Gotham's most famous crime fighter. While 10-year-olds like myself could care less or had no idea in the first place who was being cast as Batman, we just really wanted to see him on the big screen in that Batmobile. The casting decision did not sit well with the older and more established hardcore Batman fans. As Kevin Smith recently told GQ magazine,
when they made that announcement, there was no internet at this time, and it still broke the fucking internet. Because people were like, Mr. Mom is Batman? What are you, nuts?
So why all the hate? Well, let's start with some preconceived notions of who Batman, and more importantly, Bruce Wayne, is, from his demeanor to his physical stature. Now, prior to the announcement, fans had a very specific image of Batman based on the comics. Keaton's previous roles, which were primarily in those comedic films, led to concerns about his ability to portray the serious and brooding nature of the Dark Knight. Then there was his physical appearance, specifically his relatively smaller stature and lack of the chiseled superhero physique typically associated with Batman. It raised some serious doubts about his ability to embody the character's intimidating physical presence. This skepticism from comic book purists was quickly on display in the form of 50,000 protest letters and petitions sent to Warner Brothers. The media weighed in as well. A headline on the front page of the Wall Street Journal read, "Batman fans fear the joke's on them in Hollywood epic." It goes on to say, best known as a wacky prankster in Burton's 1988 comedy Beetlejuice, Keaton has a receding hairline and a less than heroic chin. He stands an estimated 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighs in at 160 pounds or so, and, quote, looks like 100 guys you see on the street, says Bo Smith, a Batman fan in Cerrito, West Virginia. If you saw him in an alley wearing a batsuit, you would laugh, not run in fear. Batman should be 6'2", 235 pounds, your classically handsome guy with an imposing, scary image.
Ouch town population, you bro!
And how about this editorial in the LA Times? By casting a clown as Batman, Warner Brothers and Burton have defecated on the history of Batman and on the hopes of those who appreciate the character and his potential. Even the movie's executive producer, Michael Keaton, told SuperheroHype.com in 2014 that, I was the very first one that was apoplectic when I heard about Michael Keaton. I went absolutely crazy. Going on to say, I thought the fans were going to show up and surround Warner Brothers with torches and pitchforks.
To tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Keaton would of course prove the haters wrong, as Batman would gross $40.5 million its opening weekend, breaking the opening weekend record at that time. It became the fastest movie to reach 100 million and finished with 411 million worldwide. That's about $983 million when adjusted for inflation. His dark and mysterious portrayal of Batman ultimately won over many skeptics and became iconic in its own right. Keaton's nuanced acting combined with Tim Burton's atmospheric direction helped redefine the cinematic portrayal of Batman and pave the way for Batman Returns in 1992, before Keaton hung up the bat boots after bowing out of 1995's Batman Forever. That's another Bat story for another Bat time. So what did you think of Keaton's casting as Batman back in the day? Were you old enough to care, or were you like me and it just didn't really matter? We just want to see Batman, baby! And where does he rank among his big screen Batman counterparts like Bale, Affleck, Pattinson, Clooney, and Kilmer? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this nostalgic trip back in time, give this video a like and subscribe for more radical content from the 80s and the 90s. My little brother despises that word. It's the only reason I used it. I'm Jimmy Gaddis. I'll see you next time. Apoplectic. Apoplectic?
Apoplectic.
I was the very first one that was apoplectic.
Apoplectic.
Apoplectic.